LD.
Young money, old money, real good money. Young money, old money, real good money. Real good money, real good money, money. Real good money, real good money. Real good money, real good money, money. Real good money, real good money. Young money, old money, real good money. Young money, old money, real good money. Real good money, real good money, money. Real good money, real good money. Real good money, real good money, money. Real good money, real good money. Young money, old money, real good money. Young money, old money, real good money. Real good money, real good money, money. Real good money, real good money. Real good money, real good money.
That is
money.
exactly
Real
why
good
it's so
money, real
long.
good money.
Boom. My bad. All right, there we go. What it is. How do I sound? Am I back in the pocket? Because, yes, there is plenty of dust on this equipment. This microphone, for that matter. Like, I only use the microphone when I'm streaming, and I haven't streamed since the last time I streamed. It's quite some time ago. So I figured that I would, sounds good. Sounds good. We in the pocket. You know what I'm saying? Testing. 1, 2. I should have fucking tested this shit out before I went live, but I didn't. Listen, getting back into the flow of, like, you know, setting the stream up, you know, getting the podcast, getting the thumbnail ready, and then all that shit is just, it's kind of foreign to me at the moment. I got to get back in the swing of it, and I want to get back in the swing of it. So, you know, this was like one of them nothing to it but to do it kind of things. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, just go for it. Just do it. So that's what that is, man. But hopefully everybody doing good on this Saturday, feeling good about themselves, chilling. Maybe you went to the movies. Maybe you saw Creed 3. I saw it twice already. I saw it on Wednesday. We had an advanced screening. Me and the wife saw it. And then I saw it yesterday with the homeboy Maserati Rand. Yeah, Rand made this. Shout out to Rand. And, you know, as fellow filmmakers, we felt it was a need that we see a movie together that kind of fits both of our, like, our taste, if that matters. Like, you know, we both like boxing, shit like that. Yeah, John Jones fight tonight, dude. John Jones is getting busy tonight, so I'm gonna be locked into that. I'm gonna watch that. But you know, the main event, the UFC fights don't start till like 12 anyway, so I figured I'd go live, talk to y'all about Creed 3, Michael B. Jordan, and masculinity. Yeah, I want to talk about that too. You feel what I'm saying? So it's a lot of different shit I want to talk about, man. So I'm gonna keep it real brief. I'm not gonna stay on here for too long, man. But I want to do more of these streams. So I want to do one a week. That's what I'm aiming for. Friday nights or Saturday nights. Because those are nights where, if I don't got a gig, I'm usually free. And I never really get gigs Friday and Saturday. So she's the one or the other. But Miss K, what's happening, Miss K? Shout out to Miss K. Let me talk to the beautiful people up in this joint. Shout out to Alex. It's the homie. Quantum. Shout out to Quantum, man. Over there on Twitch. Let me go up there. Savage Spirit was good. Ace, what's happening? And all right, so shout out Bob, was good, man. Shout out to Bob J, man. Hope Bob is, feeling well, doing well. Cheers, y'all. Y'all know I gotta have a drink, and I don't usually drink like that. So I'm back. If I'm having a drink, I'm back. But different vibes this time. Very movie orientated. So if you're a fan of films like me, you should really dig some of the stuff that I got planned. If you're a fellow filmmaker like us, you really might dig some of these things, or even just a creative in general. So, yeah, man. No, I haven't been to any of those lately. I got a homie, man. His name is Iyende. You should check him out on Instagram, but it's IYE Yende, YINDE. Day. And man, his art's awesome. Like, his art's great. And that's a dude I came up school with, and we was both kind of knuckleheads, and we both just kind of like leaned all the way into the arts. And now he's an actual paint artist, and I'm a filmmaker. So yeah, man, YouTube was kind of like, I'm like, damn, should I live stream on YouTube? Is that like something that's worth doing? And then I thought about it for a minute. I'm like, fucking right, what am I doing? I'm tripping. You know what I mean? But it's always that question, because I'm doing something different. So you build up this base and these people that come through and watch content that's kind of geared towards what they like. And I'm like, I don't want to make content around that no more. So I want to do something different. And, kind of like, damn, is people going to dig that? Do I need to start a new channel? Blah, 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 blah. And then I was just like, nah, man, I'm just going to go for it. And in some cases, I probably will talk about gaming in a certain aspect, like especially, playing a cinematic game. You know what I mean? I'm playing God of War now. I'm waiting till I'm finished God of War to talk about God of War. But then Resident Evil 4 is mad cinematic. There's a couple games coming out that's like that. So yeah, I'm gonna still talk about game in some fashion, but it's got to be related to filmmaking. And a lot of games is incorporating tons of filmmaking aspects. Like it gets better and greater as time goes on. So it'll be plenty to talk about. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I want everybody to have a good time, and I know that's a part of like the time and all, but I can't do that shit. So you're safe. It's a safe space, Alex. Safe space for you, Train. But yeah, I wanted to talk Creed 3 because I saw Creed 3 twice. Wednesday night advanced screening, and I saw it yesterday with Maserati Ran, and I'm glad I saw it twice, because when I saw it the first time, like both viewings, the theater energy was on 10. And this is why I like going to the movies. You don't get that energy sitting in the crib. You just don't. Like, it just don't work out that way. So you get a lot of your energy from being around other people and y'all watching the same shit. So the first night, the energy was insane. Like, the energy was crazy. I think everybody there was really looking forward to seeing the film. But the second night, while I did think that everybody was there to enjoy the film, it was some people in that joint that they was clowning. They was clowning big time. And them clowning made me notice things that I might not have noticed if I didn't like see it a second time with that audience. And I had a little little help. You know what I'm saying? To sit still. I'm talking about gummies and edibles and shit. But I saw some things that, you know, kind of swayed my opinion of the movie just ever so slightly. So while I was real high on it the first night, and I'm glad I didn't tweet or talk about it that night, the second time I saw it kind of brought me back down to earth. And I think I got a better perspective of how I view this film. So I figured this would be the right time to talk about it. I also want to talk about Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors and the issue of masculinity. And I want to talk about creative barriers, because a lot of people I talk to that want to do creative shit, it's like a wall in front of them, you know? And I felt like that before myself, where there was a wall in front of the things I wanted to do creatively. And to be honest with you, a lot of those walls and barriers I made up myself. So I want to talk about that some also. I want to see how many people get up in this joint before we get into Creed. How many people, did anybody see Creed? Anybody seen Creed 3 yet? I'm not going to spoil it. There's no spoilers, even though I don't see how you can actually spoil this movie unless you get into like the deets, you know, of the plot. But realistically, I don't think you can spoil the film. It's a Rocky movie. That's number one. Number one, first and foremost, before anything else. It's a Rocky movie. It's paced, it moves exactly of what you would expect a Rocky movie to do. Think of Rocky 3, because this is what it closely resembles to me. It's not as personal, but Rocky 3 had the same story beats that Creed 3 does, which is like bizarre because it was the third movie in each installment. But yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything for anybody. I'm just going to talk about some of the things I liked about the movie, and just maybe a few, because I really only disliked a few things. And a lot of that is probably some shit that most people are not going to notice. Maybe not. You know what I'm saying? So before I jump into that, first off, this movie has a scene in it. You know, every Rocky movie has a training montage. This movie has a scene in Michael B. Jordan's training montage. Let me take my watch off real quick. Where he is running up the Hollywood Hills. He gets to the top. He screams really loud. And the camera pans out to see him on top of the Hollywood sign. Or not like on the sign, but like the hill that's above it. And one thing I've learned since I start making films is that everything is intentional. Nothing's by accident. People do everything on purpose in films. And that right there let me know how he feels of himself while he was making this movie. Michael B. Jordan wants to be on top of Hollywood. And he's going to have a pretty good weekend this week. I'm pretty sure of that. The theater's going to treat him right. But I thought that was funny because I was like, wow. My man's really feeling himself, man. He said, listen, y'all, I'm on top of Hollywood. I thought that was a funny scene. But let's get into the movie. So, Creed 3, third installment in the Creed franchise, in the overall Rocky universe, if that exists. If there's a Rocky universe, I guess this is the third movie in the Creed, franchise of that universe. And it's about Adonis Creed, who's recently retired. He's the best boxer in the world. He finding himself, or finding his place in this world and this life in post-retirement, and something or somebody from his past reemerges, and that leads us down a journey or road that challenges Adonis Creed, challenges his pride. More than anything else, his pride. Because one of my issues with the movie, which I'm going to talk about later, is them deciding what for him to be challenged on. It could be his belief, it could be a lot of different things, but they chose pride in this one. His pride was shattered. And I thought that was an interesting choice for them to go with in a third installment of a movie where you got a guy that got his ass whooped over and over and over again, and he got back up and got back up and got back up like Rocky. You know, he's the underdog. You know, this movie starts off, he's not the underdog. He's on top. So they had to find a way to bring him down. And I thought that was interesting that they chose Pride, because the movie starts off with a flashback to when he was a child. And, you know, it seemed like at first that you can be like, oh man, like, was they doing some criminal shit? Like, what were they doing? And then, you know, it reveals that they were actually just going to an amateur boxing fight. And I was like, wow, they really kind of shrouded that in this mystery of what they were doing. Come to find out, they were just going to a amateur bout that his old friend Dame Anderson was involved in. Dame Anderson was the national champion, national Golden Gloves champion. He was the best. He was the best in LA, and he was on route to being, you know, a hell of a boxer before this event that happens to start the movie, which we don't get a full glimpse of, but we get an idea, right? And then it flash forwards to where Adonis Creed is at the moment at the start of the film, and he's fighting Tony Bellows' character from the first movie. They're having a rematch because Tony Bello beat him in the first movie, and he needed his get back before he retired. It was his last fight, and that's how the movie kind of jumps off. And I thought it was a good starting point because you see how him and his family interacts. Tessa Thompson's character, he has a daughter. His daughter's deaf, so there's a lot of sign language in the movie. In fact, I'm talking about this is like I know I love you because of that movie. That's I love you in sign language. I didn't know that. I know now because of Creed 3. So we go on this journey of him revisiting his past, because Dame comes out of jail, and the first thing he goes to do is go visit Baby Creed, who's now a fight promoter. And I thought that was an interesting choice too, you know, because it's kind of like the Mayweather thing. That's what it felt like. It felt like he went the Mayweather route because he's rich, he's famous, beautiful wife, family, and it felt like kind of like the Mayweather deal because he's also a promoter. And Dame comes back, and listen, man, rightfully so. You get locked up for 18 years for some shit that probably could have been avoided. You're going to be pissed. You're going to be mad. But that's not apparent at first. What's apparent is that Dame is looking for another chance at boxing. 18 years, he didn't give up the dream. He wants to fight. He wants to box. And that's like the catalyst that sets up the story and throws the alley-oop. So, for the most part, I enjoyed the movie. I really did. I had fun watching it. Is it this deep character study? No. It's a Rocky movie. I'm talking about, it's so a Rocky movie, bro. If I ever seen a Rocky movie, it's Rocky like a motherfucker. And I'm not talking about like Rocky 1 Rocky. I'm talking about like Rocky 4 Rocky or Rocky 3 Rocky. You know what I mean? Like, it's Rocky. You know what I mean? It's a Rocky movie. So, you know, you're going to get these fast-paced, wild fights. Even more so in this movie because he does some different shit with the choreography that I've never seen in, at least in a Rocky movie or a Creed movie for that matter, because my man went balls to the walls. That budget went towards the fights. The fights got all the budget because I want to say I really liked the fights in Rocky 4. It was a lot of slugging and shit, but it was just fun to watch. I like the fights in Creed, the first Creed movie that Ryan Coogler did, because they were like one shots where they didn't have really any cuts in the action. I thought they were dope. These were a whole different type of dope because they had realistic aspects to them for anybody that's ever even watched boxing. You didn't have to participate in boxing. You could just watch the shit and be like, okay, I know what that is. That's a straight, that's a jab, that's a upper. All that stuff is there. Even defense, it's all there. It looks good too. But then they start doing like weird shit, like the way they play with slow motion, the way they play with sound. Like, I don't think there was any boxing movie that was remotely close to that. In fact, the only thing I could think of is the Sugar Ray Robinson scene from Raging Bull, where the camera pans out, everything goes black. They do one of those like dolly zooms, vertigo effect, and Sugar Ray Robinson beats the shit out of fucking Jake LaMotta for the remainder of that scene. So that's the only thing I saw that's like reminiscent to what was in Creed, because the last fight is insane. Like the last fight is insane. Like people was oohing and eyeing, man. And when he was talking about anime influence, he was not lying. Like if you've ever watched any fight in an anime, you were like, oh, I've seen that before. Oh, damn, they really did this in real life. So it kind of makes me think, like when people say that you can't adapt anime to screen or to film, I think people just ain't thought of the right idea yet. Because I think it's possible. I think it is possible. You probably can't have people with like wild hairstyles and shit because it looks stupid, but you probably could translate the action over the live action. So they did that in Creed 3. The fights are well done, extremely well done, right? It looks good visually. They shot these with anamorphic lenses. It just looks nice. It's a pretty movie. It's a real nice looking movie. I think people will appreciate that. And technically, it's just everything's on point. It's Michael B. Jordan's first crack at directing, and I think for him to even be in the movie and direct it, he did a great job. Wonderful job. If that's the case, starring in the movie, delivering your lines, delivering emotion, while still directing all the other people around you, he did good. People can say what they want about him. He did good. Now, the acting. The acting's okay. I know some people thought it was going to be like this. I think he does a good job, Michael B. Jordan, because he has a range of emotions from being angry to being extremely sad to having somewhat depressed moments. He does a good job of conveying all of those emotions. I believed him. Jonathan Majors as Dame Anderson is probably the standout. The guy stand out in everything he's in, though, at this point. Like, I don't know why, but it feels like he buys into all his roles. Not saying that the other people didn't, but he really seems like he's, like, dialed in, I believe Dame Anderson. I believed why he was upset. I believed why he wanted some form of redemption for what was done to him. It was good. My problem here is Tessa Thompson. Man. And I know, like, that's probably how the character was portrayed in the first two movies. But she was annoying as shit in this movie, man. Jesus, she was annoying. She has, like, this whispery voice and Donnie, it's like she was like, it was just too much for me. And I didn't buy her role. Like, at all. Like, I didn't buy it. I didn't buy Tessa Thompson in this movie. I think she was collecting a check. I guess she had some moments, because you had to have some moments in this movie for it to make sense. I just didn't buy him. And I wasn't really all the way interested in her character or any development she had, because she really didn't have any development. And there wasn't really that much room for it. Okay, I'll take that back. There's development in the relationship between Adonis and I can't remember her character's name, but there's development between those two, but no like character arc for her, really. You know what I mean? She was just a catalyst for his development. And the parts she has sometimes are like overacting, or she might be acting a little too much. And there's somebody else in the movie too that I don't want to name that really overacts at one point. Like this, they got a scene that lasts way too long. Like they are overacting, and they're trying to get some award that they probably won't get. Just think of what Angela Bassett did in Wakanda Forever, just like on 30%. It's nowhere near as good as that shit. Because she was killing that. She was in there, in the pocket. And this wasn't it. But, overall, I believed what was happening on the screen. I was into it. Then you have the plot, the storyline, And this is where like my biggest gripe with the movie lies, because even though like Tessa Thompson's character annoyed me, I thought the daughter of his, the deaf daughter, I can't think of her name, and I apologize. Probably should have wrote this shit down. She was the heart of the movie. She really was. When she was on screen, you know, you can tell like this was done to pull at our heartstrings, and watching her relationship with Donnie, it was dope. That was the best part. That was really the best part of the movie, to be honest with you. Like, the movie has heart. It does. And all Rocky movies have heart when they're done well. So this is right up there with the best of them. The movie had a ton of heart, a bunch of heart. But I thought there was holes, or not even holes with the plot. The plot wants to have these stakes that's not there, that don't exist, in my opinion. So I'm supposed to feel like it's this big event, and it's like, well, what happened to make it big? Nothing I saw. So I'm gonna try to get into that without spoiling it. But first off, Donnie's character and Jonathan Major's character Dame were friends as children. They had an event that led to Dame going to jail for 18 years and basically Donnie going about his life and becoming Creed, or Baby Creed, as we know him now. I didn't feel like that was explained well enough, even though they finally revealed exactly what happened in that event at the end. I was like, man, like, it could have, maybe it should have been worse than what it was, because when you find out what actually happened, it was like, y'all mad about that? Not to mention, this guy got 18 years? 18 years for this? Shoot, instead of coming home looking for Adonis Creed, he need to come home and look for whoever his representation was, and he need to go fight the system, because he shouldn't have got 18 years for that crime. That's crazy. I thought he did some crazy shit. Like, I was thinking like, yo, this dude's like a murderer. You know what I mean? Or like he did something wild, and that's just not the case. It's not the case, and it's actually pretty tame. And the reason for Adonis being so hesitant to talk about this scenario or situation with his wife or anybody else is because it make him look like a punk. That's it. That's it. That's literally it. All of this happened because he was a punk. And I was just like, I don't know, man. I kind of laughed at that a little bit. I thought that was funny. And I was just like, wow, really? So that's why you never said nothing to nobody? Because, yeah, you was a kid, and you was a scared kid, and you was a punk. Okay. I thought we could have made the stakes a little higher than that. Or a little bit more deeper or depth. I know that would have changed the rate. Maybe it wouldn't have stayed in the lines of PG-13, but I guess they got to get this money. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't see the big issue with what happened. And I damn sure don't see Dame doing 18 years because of that shit. No, man, that is crazy. 18 straight? Please, man. That's insane. So I wasn't feeling that. I wasn't feeling that part of the plot. I understood what they were trying to do, but it fell flat for me once we got the information on what actually happened. So then there's the third act, and I see I apologize if I'm not saying your name right, Casteller Garcia. The third act just zooms past, like it's like they rushed to get to this last fight, right? That they spend all this money on. Which, okay, I understand that. They spend a bunch of money. They want people to see it. They don't want people to get bored. And it's already a 2-hour movie. Like, the movie moves really fast for a 2-hour movie. Like, you barely notice that it's 2 hours. But once we get to the point where they agree to fight each other, it just like that. And I just didn't buy it, man. I just did not buy that shit. You have this dude who did 18 years in prison. Okay, he was a fighter back in the day. He gets out of prison, and I don't want to spoil the movie, but he makes such a big deal that he gets a title shot. And I know the first Rocky, Apollo, and they reference that. So they know that people are thinking this. But it was so crazy to see, like, his record at the bottom of the screen. It was like, Diamond Dame Anderson, 1-0. What? And I think he's supposed to have a chance against Adonis Creed, who was billed as the best boxer in the world when he stopped boxing? Come on, man. Come on, man. Casteller, I don't want to spoil anything. That's a spoiler right there. I gotta get this comment out of here because that's a huge spoiler right there. I gotta remove that, John, man. And not because you said anything wrong, but it's a huge spoiler. Though. That's a super spoiler. But yeah, Pride is absolutely the real issue with the movie, and I guess it kind of delves into like men being a little too prideful at times to speak on the things that are bothering them. So I took that from the movie, and that's something that definitely plays into the character arc of Adonis Creed and Dame Anderson for that matter. You feel what I'm saying? So, you know, Dame's pride wouldn't let him let go of the dream of being a boxer. Adonis's pride wouldn't allow him to talk about his past with his family, and you know, it is a pride thing, and pride plays a huge role in this movie. And I liked it. I thought that was cool. I just think we rushed past some things. I think we got too in the weeds with montages and music. Because, listen, I can't stress how good this movie looks. And if you decide to go to the theater and see it, try to see it in IMAX because it's beautiful. It's every frame. I ain't going to say every frame because there's some CG in this movie that you can tell is CG. Like, you can look at it and be like, oh, that's CG. And a boxing movie with CG in it, and not like a bad way. It's not like people shooting beams or anything at each other, but some of the CG looks weird. You know what I mean? Especially towards the end. But it wasn't that distracting. So I'm not going to complain about the CG. But it's noticeable. It was way better than Ant-Man 3. Yes. Wow. We talked about Quantumania on Twitch. I regret doing it. I should have did it on both. But yeah, Quantumania is like so average. It's crazy. And this is better than average. This is not average. This is for a person's first movie as a director. I know he's an actor. He's been in the business for a while. He's been a part of these movies for a minute. So yeah, if anybody has the gist of what this character can do or has to offer, is Michael B. Jordan. But to direct and star in a movie that's above average, he's on his way, y'all. He's going to be rich. I mean, he is rich now. He's going to be insanely rich because this is not where it stops at. He's going to make a lot more movies, and I think he's pretty good at it, to be honest with you. I think he has, especially when you get a chance to be completely behind the scenes, behind the camera, and he's just directing. He's gonna make some shit. Like, I know it for a fact. And this was like proof. This is proof that he could do that with a huge budget too. So imagine if you make a smaller movie. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be awesome. But yeah. Yo, Blackie, what's going on, man? So yeah, that was my real issue with the movie, was the pacing and the fact that I didn't think that Diamond Dame Anderson got built up well enough to seem like he was an actual threat to Adonis Creed. Like, there was no part of that movie where I thought he was going to lose. Like, none. Zero. You know, because in the other movies, he'll take a L mid-movie. It's like that false defeat. You know what I mean? So, he usually takes a L at that point. Well, that didn't happen in this movie. You know what I mean? He did take some personal L's, but nobody whooped his ass. And I didn't think that Diamond Dame Anderson was going to be the one to do it because they kind of was shitting on him the entire movie. You know, he's old, he hasn't boxed professionally, and I'm like, so this guy is supposed to beat Adonis Creed? No, hell no. I never believed it, not for a second, and I was right. So, yeah, it plays and ends exactly how you think a Rocky movie would do that. It's the performances that stand out. It's the visuals that are absolutely the best in a Rocky movie, without a doubt. There's no fucking Rocky movie that looks this good. And I think it's going to cement Michael B. Jordan as a major player in Hollywood. It's going to make a lot of money too. I wonder what the numbers are. What's the numbers right now? It's got to be somewhere near 100 million. Gotta be. I can't see it being any less. If it is, wow. I think it's going to crack 100. I think so. I'm saying that with some uncertainty, but I think it's going to crack 100 million. Yo, Bats, what's going on? And Nate, what's happening? Listen, it's a solid flick. I think it is a good popcorn movie. If great date night movie because these two guys with sweat. It's a great date movie. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's a good time at the theater, like without a doubt. You'll leave thinking about it, talking about it. There's moments, good moments too. Do we think it would have been better as a 2-part movie? Yes. You see, I would have to spoil the movie to tell you the movie I thought of afterwards, because I can't say that I can make a better movie because I didn't think about it offhand. This is all in hindsight. But there's a better movie hidden somewhere beneath there because I think that Dame character is interesting. That's an interesting character. And I feel like they got over their discrepancy too easily. Because I was like, yo, Dame on some bullshit. And I was with it, man. I was with it. And we just didn't go all the way there. It's like they said, and stopped right there and said, you know what, y'all? It's got to be a Rocky movie. I'm like, oh, damn it. The ghost of Sylvester Stallone is still here. And speaking of Sylvester Stallone, right? Speaking of Sly, everybody know about the discrepancy he has with Rocky and the fact that, they took the property and the IP from him. And, okay, listen, that's a gripe that he could have. He should have. Because that's his movie, for real. Like, Rocky started with him. He wrote the shit. This ain't something that he just starred in, which a lot of people believe. He wrote the shit. Should Sly have a piece of it? Because they don't have nothing. Forget a big piece. He has no piece of it. And I think he should. As a creative, I believe if you create something, you should benefit from said creation. But here's my issue with that. One, he gave away the rights to that in the 70s, y'all. Years ago, before I was even born, right? Two, he agreed to star in every movie, and he even directed a few of them, if I'm not mistaken. Why now, right? And I'm going to tell you why I think now was the time where he kind of like really had a titty about it. They wrote him out the movie. There's Philadelphia isn't in the movie. They say Rocky one time in the entire film. They wrote him out the movie. They wrote him out of the Creed thing. Like, he's gone. Now, do I think he could have had a better send-off? Sure. Do I think he was necessary to be in this movie that they made? Hell no. In fact, it would be weird if he was in this movie. Where would he fit at? I was glad that they gave Wood Harris's character, Duke, a bigger role because he's funny as shit. And I don't even think he'd be meaning to be funny, but Wood Harris is funny as shit. And he's funny in this movie, right? I like the fact that he was highlighted more in this film. I was okay with the absence of Sylvester Stallone. And if they make more Creed movies, I wouldn't mind. I do think at some point they got to have Rocky walk through a curtain or some shit so the whole fucking audience can cheer. Like, that has to happen. I don't know how you make any more of these movies and don't have him do that one time. Sylvester, if you watch this, you got to do it. You got to do it, man. You got to do it. You have to. But yeah, realistically though, I don't think he was necessary for this story. It was a personal story between Adonis and someone from his past. Not his daddy's, not Rocky's past. They did that in the last movie. He basically redeemed his father's death in the last movie. I don't think we needed him. It was the right amount of Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors. It was the right amount of Adonis Creed and Diamond Dame Anderson. And to me, that was necessary. That was necessary. I don't think that we needed Sylvester Stallone given his emotional performance. Listen, Sylvester do a great job in this role too. So I'm not shitting on that. I'm just saying it's okay. Some people are like, oh, it's not right. I don't want to watch it because Sylvester's not in it. I'm like, come on, guys. Come on. How many Rocky movies can we really watch? We know Sylvester is, come on, we know that. We know that. And the fact that this movie felt like a Rocky movie. And I think that's the bigger thing. The bigger thing here is that it felt like a Rocky movie. The montage, like all of that. Like, it felt like a Rocky movie. It felt like a Rocky movie, but set in a realistic setting. Like they have Showtime boxing. Then they had like the pre-fight hype thing that they did. And I was like, yo, all of this was dope. And not saying that they didn't do that back in the day, because I think they did do that for they did it for Rocky Balboa, and they might have did it for Rocky 4. Nah, I don't think they did it for Rocky 4. But it felt like real boxing. They had the zone. They had real boxers in the movie. Terrence Crawford. It's not David Benavidez. I can't remember his brother's name, but he plays a large part in the movie. I said Terrence Crawford. Canelo Alvarez is in the movie. Like I feel like this movie tapped into boxing, actual real boxing, way more than any other Rocky movie. Like, I felt like it was tapped in. So that's appreciated. It's a different movie, but still has the same feels as what you know from a Rocky movie. All the same beats from Rocky is in this movie. All of them. Even down to, you know what, I'm not even going to say that because somebody just put that in the chat. Yeah, it's a Rocky movie. And that's something that Sylvester should look at and be like, you know what? I'm okay with this. Because I don't think his problem was with like Michael B. Jordan or the fact that Michael B. Jordan's directing it. But I think his problem was like, hey, they don't need me no more. And I don't care what human being, how much money you got, it's something you created and you feel like you're not necessary. It's gonna feel shitty. It's gonna feel shitty. So I understand his gripe, but man, Michael B. Jordan made a hell of a movie, and I think that Sly should rock with him for the next one, man. At least for a scene or two, at least to end his character. You know what I'm saying? To put the Rocky character, you know, away so they can just, you know, because I'm pretty sure, especially if they make $100 million in a weekend for a Rocky movie, it will absolutely be the highest grossing Rocky movie of all time if that's the case. You have to make more movies. You must. There's fucking 6 Rocky movies. Why not, man? Why not? I don't see the problem with that. I really don't. I think that's something that's absolutely feasible and people will go to the theater and see it again and again. Especially if the stakes get higher. I just think they had 2 movies set up for Dame Anderson and they didn't go forth with it. So it's cool. But overall, really good movie. You know what? Let me break down. Overall, from a visual aspect, It's beautiful. In fact, like you had all this CG shit in Ant-Man Quantumania. Creed looked better than that movie. I said it. I don't care. It's more visually creative. It's better looking. Boom. Shit, in my opinion, it's better looking than Doctor Strange too, because that movie was just a mess at times. And not to compare Creed to shit that got all this CG in it, but that's what I'm saying. For a movie that don't have like that much CG, it looks visually better. It just does. The color grading, the use of color, it all looks better. I love what they did with the fight scenes. And listen, this is from a person who's boxed himself, whose daddy was a boxer, who thinks that the boxing in Rocky is bogus because there's a bunch of swinging and people getting punched in the head, and that ain't boxing. I liked it here. I liked it in Rocky 4 too, but I really liked it here. Like, I liked it a lot. I like the creative choices that was made, because that last fight's a weird one. It's a weird one, man, but it's dope. It's well done. Very creative. I am absolutely a fan of the anime references made in these fight scenes, and I want to see more of them in more movies. Do that shit a lot. It's a scene where he hits Michael B. Jordan. It's probably, I think this is in the trailer, but not the whole thing. He hits him with a body shot. Boom! And the sweat flies off his back in slow motion. But that ain't the cool shit. The cool shit is Michael B. Jordan makes the de facto anime face that happens when somebody get punched in the stomach. He goes, ugh! And I was like, yo! This is great. This is fucking great, right? So the fight scenes are phenomenal. They're just dope. The acting. The acting is like 70% out of 100. 70%. Michael B. Jordan at times might overact sometimes. He might. Depending on what your preference is. Because sometimes it could be like very, very dramatic, very emotional, and you buy in. And then sometimes the emotional aspects can be like, it can be kind of funny almost, like B-movie shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be that level, like he's trying a little too hard to where it'll make you laugh a little bit. You know, like he has a part where she says, his wife says, Donnie, you're a good man. And he says, I don't know anymore. Now, listen, the popcorn almost flew out of my face because I said, yo, he could have just like nodded, or he just said, I don't know anymore. It was funny, okay? And there's a couple scenes like that. But for the most part, though, he nails it, especially when he does the father-daughter shit. I think that's the part where he really shines as far as his craft with acting. So then you got Jonathan Majors, who's just been a powerhouse in everything he's been in, right? And this ain't much different. He's more street than he normally is. And I thought that was going to come off corny, and it didn't. It didn't. He played all of that well. You know, it's a scene where Adonis invites Dame to the crib right after they kind of get back together, and they're out on the patio talking, and you know, Adonis really is trying not to bring up the past, right? He try hard as shit, but this Dame keep bringing up the past, and Dame says, "You remember them bed bugs, bro? The bed bugs was crazy, right?" And he was like, Adonis was like, yeah, man, I'm trying to forget that. And then, like, he looks up, like, very, like, kind of villainish and says, yeah, I can't forget that. And I was like, that was good. That was good shit. I ain't gonna hold you. That was dope. You know what I mean? Because if you know anybody that's been down for a long time, the first thing they do is reminisce about shit that's, like, you're not trying to, like, indulge in no more. They're going to remember all the fucked up times because they ain't had nothing but time. And I thought he captured and encapsulated a man that lost time. Like he must have like had family members or something else where he kind of could talk to a person who lost a lot of time. And I thought that he encapsulated that correctly. I thought he killed that. And he could have been just like the villainous person. That's why when people say that Rocky IV was their favorite movie, I'm like, nah, man, the villain was just a Russian mustache twirling villain. Ha ha ha, I'm stronger than you. You know what I mean? Mr. T was a better villain, but really it was, you can't beat me, chump. This is mine. This dude was like broken. Like you could tell he felt like a broken person. There's a scene where I guess, like he gets kicked out the gym for whatever reason. I don't want to tell you, but he gets kicked out the gym and he goes home. And when he get home, like it goes through like this villain origin montage, right? Which is great. It's well done. He's in like his little room. He smashes his bag up against the wall out of frustration. He wipes everything out. Then he just starts working out. I was like, oh shit. He starts working out. You can see like they really took their time, like showing his physique. Cause you like, yo, this dude's stocky, but he's doing all this working out. He's shadow boxing in the mirror. And I'm like, yo, this man is crazy. You can tell he's been behind them walls for way too long. I just bought his character. I was into it. That's why I wanted to see more of him. I wanted to see more of him because I think once he like finally kind of got rolling, the movie ended. That's what it felt like to me. It felt like once I really start getting into his character, the movie was over. You know what I mean? So there's that. I didn't like Tessa Thompson. Hey, listen, I know some people, man, listen, I didn't like Tessa Thompson, and I didn't like another character that I thought at some times was overacting. The deaf daughter was adorable, and I think she's the heart of the movie. In fact, she is the heart of the movie. How about that? And I love Wood Harris. Wood Harris could be in a movie doing nothing, and I just love Wood Harris. And I thought the real boxers that were in the movie, did a really good job. I thought they did a good job. So I was into that. I'm trying to think. Cinematography, great. Acting, above average. And the plot. I thought the plot was basic, which is not a problem. Sometimes convoluted plots, no good for me. But I thought that this one could have had higher stakes. And I thought the opportunity for it was there, but it would have absolutely made this movie a little darker than they probably wanted it to be. Like, this would have made the movie, like, extremely dark, extremely morbid. And they was just like, nah, we're not going to do that. So they played it close to the chest. And I'm like, kind of made it not feel as impactful when we finally did get the reveal. But a part of me understand why. This is a movie for families to enjoy. Not just us. Not us alcohol drinking adults. This is a family affair. So I understood why they didn't go there. But if they did go there, I think that would have took the movie to a whole nother level. Like, that would have just, it would have been one of these moments. Wow. And I'll talk about that at some other point, when we talk some spoilers. But yeah, Avedon, I appreciate that, brother. I really do. I appreciate you stopping by and showing your face, man. OG. That's the OG in the game. And check out Avedon Smith page for those slapping lo-fi beats. I gotta get with you too, man, because I need some music for a film I'm working on. So that sounds good to say too. I ain't gonna lie, because I'm really working on it. Damn, shit. All right. You say shit to yourself, but you don't necessarily say it in front of people, so it feels different. You know what I mean? But yeah, I gotta get with you. Yeah, man. But overall, I mean, okay. Fight scenes. I didn't get to the fight scenes. Fight scenes, to me, in my opinion, best in class. And when I mean in class, I'm talking about Rocky movies, boxing movies. Phenomenal. In fact, you can put him up there with any action in the movie. I know John Wick is doing some outrageous shit, but this is pretty good, man. And the anime influences are welcome. I loved it, and I hope they get a chance to do it again. I hope they get a bigger budget, and I hope they, get a chance to do all the stuff that they were thinking about, because that's usually what happens. A lot of stuff get left on the cutting room table because you might not have had the budget to pull it off. So I hope they get a bigger budget next time. But the movies, the fight scenes that's there are absolutely great, and even better in IMAX if you see it in IMAX. So overall, I thought it was a good movie. It's a great popcorn movie. It's a great date night movie. It's something I would watch again. I watched it twice already. I will watch it again. And I think that if anyone says that this movie couldn't hold its own because of the absence of Sylvester Stallone, they're out of their damn mind. And we have to start giving Michael B. Jordan his props now, because not only did he star in the movie and do a hell of a job, he directed the movie, and his influence is all up in that thing. We got to put some respect on his name. We have to. I would give it out of 10 a 8.2. Not quite an 8.5. Tessa Thompson probably, if she didn't do that, it would have been an 8.5. This is like an 8.2 to me. 8.2 out of 10. I really liked it. I want to watch it again. And I will watch it again. When it comes out on Blu-ray, I'm buying it. I want the Steelbook. I want the whole shit. I did that with the first Creed. I skipped Creed 2 because I didn't necessarily like that as much. I own it, but I skipped the Steelbook and all that stuff. But for Creed 3, I want the whole package. Pause. Because it's just a good film. I'm excited to see it again. So check it out. Check it out. If you want a good action-packed movie with heart, some emotional beats, pretty good acting, and just superb visuals, go see it. Go see it in IMAX. It's worth it. So, dope. Yes, Michael B. did his thing. Let me see what y'all talking about. My bad. I was just rambling, blah, 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 blah. But, yeah. Let me see what's going on with you guys, man. Apologize for that. Quantum you say is Creed 3 a live action adaptation of a sports anime? Well, the only sports anime I ever seen was I don't know how to say it. Hage no Ippo. It's a boxing ring. It's basically the anime that's Victorious Boxers, which is a game that I loved on PS2. And yeah, I think that I don't know. I don't know if I can say that. I can say though that the fighting and the action scenes were really well done. And it has super anime influence in it. So it's worthy. So if that's the case, I'm gonna say yeah. I don't know. I can't. I don't know how to speak to that, but yeah. Michael B. Jordan definitely did his thing. Definitely wasn't feeling Creed 2. The whole like Russian Soviet thing, I did like the fact that they didn't make them like well off. It was like they were the grungy side of it. You know what I mean? I thought that was dope. I ain't even say what's up to Jet, man. Shout out to Jedi, man. What's good, brother? I ain't even get a chance to say. I saw you and just was talking and fucking talking, man. But good to see you up in this joint. Good Saturday to you. There's quite a few anime references in the fight scenes, though. Not really anything else, just the fight scenes. And it's welcome. Like they should do more of this shit. I'm with this. If they could pull it off the way, because you can, when a lot of these animes get adapted to film, it makes me feel like the showrunners, definitely the writers. The writers have no idea what the hell they're doing at times with these properties. But more importantly, when it comes to the action, it don't feel like it's made by a person that's a fan. Because if you're a fan, you'll notice those nuances that Michael B. Jordan put in those fight scenes. That's for fans of anime. And he pulled it from different anime. Like it wasn't just, oh, this anime is the anime I looked at. It's a couple different ones. You know what I'm saying? So that is definitely something to look forward to in the future from different directors who are actually fans of the material, which is just big in general with all of this shit. Like, why would you want to? I mean, of course, money. Yeah. But why would you want to sink that much of your life into something and not give a fuck about it? Like, I just don't understand that. Money got to be amazing if that's the case. You know, so the dude that made Cowboy Bebop, you ain't shit, because that's I'm joking, but yeah, man, like it's like people just don't care about the properties. Like, why make it then if you don't care? Why be a part of it if you don't care? I don't understand that. But I want to talk a little bit about Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors, right? Because you have this thing about masculinity going around, because first it was Jonathan Majors doing a photo shoot that was inspired by, I want to say, a character from One Piece, if I'm not mistaken. If somebody has better information than me, let me know. Correct me, please. And oh man, it's this, you know, it's demasculinizing black men. Word. As soon as I seen it, I felt less masculine. You know what I'm saying? Like the masculinity just left my body when I seen that photo. All right. Then you have a photo shoot with Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors together, and they're kind of like buddying it up, like, you know, and people like, man, this looks sweet, you know. And if, you know, at one point in my life, I probably would have bought into that. I probably would have, but I can't do that now, y'all. I can't do that now. Especially when you have NBA players spending their Saturday or their Friday nights in strip clubs brandishing weapons. We need a little more love, y'all. We need a little bit more love. Otherwise, we're going to be in trouble. And worrying about their relationship, which is, you know, probably as friends or what Jonathan Majors is wearing in the photo shoot. None of that shit made me feel less masculine. I still feel strong. I still feel good. I still feel like a man. It didn't even make me want to wear any of that stuff. But I understand how fashion works. And there's parts of fashion that ain't even my style or my cup of tea. But nothing about what I saw was like, oh man, look at this. This is crazy. No. What is crazy is an NBA player with his future ahead of him, making tons of money, playing basketball, brandishing weapons with a bunch of gold teeth in his mouth and 30,000 tattoos around a bunch of losers. Because that's a lot more important than what the hell Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors are doing. Oh, man, Michael B. Jordan's corny. I think that shit he did was corny. Now, let's talk about corny. So the guy that's clean cut, you know, doing his director deal, acting, creating art, minding his fucking business. That guy's corny. But this dumbass that's running around a club holding a weapon with 2 fingers, anytime I see anybody doing that, you're a nut to me. You're a clown. What does that even mean? Please. That shit is so bogus. Masculinity. What they seen that guy do in the club yesterday, they look at as being masculine. looked like he had his shirt off around a bunch of grown-ass men while there were women back there. Didn't see anybody talking about masculinity about that, did they? Nah, missed that one, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm lost. I don't know. But the guys, the two guys that made like a hell of a film. You talking about black masculinity? Watch Creed 3. Look pretty masculine to me. They were fighting. They were rumbling. Selling their differences with D's in the ring. It's man shit. Holding a gun with 2 fucking fingers. And this guy's, come on, man. That's why I said people are picking and choosing what to be upset about. Because the same people that were upset about that looked at that and was like, oh, he's just a kid. Oh, he'll get over it. And yeah, hopefully he does get over it. Please get over it. Please get over that. But if we're talking about what's the perception of masculinity, then we have a serious problem here, people. Because if that is masculine, we in trouble. We in trouble. If the corny guy is the one that's being downplayed, we got a problem. A serious problem. Because guess what? I know the difference, but I am 38 years old. What about a very impressionate young man who's kind of trying to figure it out? Maybe he needs a role model. Maybe he needs somebody to look up to. And there's Ja Morant flying, dunking. I like he's cool. And then, puts a bunch of fucking jewelry in his mouth and holds a gun with 2 fingers. He's going to think that's the right thing to do. In fact, he's going to think that's masculine. Why? Because everybody else is telling him that the dude that's really getting busy is corny. We got some problems, people. We got some serious problems. I'm not preaching that bullshit. No. That man is a creative. He's an artist. He made some art. The other guy wore some, clothes. None of that made me feel less masculine. And I don't think that's making any kid feel less masculine. Because there's going to be more kids following that knucklehead in the club than there will be following Michael Jordan and Jonathan Majors. Because they think the shit they doing is extremely difficult. And the shit he doing is easy, even though it's not. We have a problem, people. We have a serious problem. And then a lot of people talking about masculinity ain't masculine they damn self. That's the even crazier part. That's the wild shit to me. Like, that's the, blows me the fuck away. Like, I don't know what to think about that shit. But yeah, I'm not looking at them guys like that. They're creative dudes, they're artistic guys. And listen, Earth, Wind, and Fire existed. Pull up a picture of how them men looked. Do yourself a favor. Pull up Earth, Wind, and Fire. Even better one. Pull up the Isley Brothers. And then sit in my face and tell me that Ron Isley ain't a man. Ron Isley, Mr. Biggs, that nigga. Tell me he's not a man or masculine or whatever. Mr. Biggs. But the dude with a bunch of tattoos with his shirt off around a bunch of dudes while girls in the background holding a gun with 2 fingers is masculine. And this is the shit that just fucks my whole fucking wiring up, man. It really does. It really does. I look at that and I just don't understand it. Maybe it ain't for me to understand. And that's cool too. But I'll say this. I ain't worried about who corny or who masculine. Who's doing the right thing? Who's walking that fine line the right way? Because that's the example. Not what you're wearing. Shit, hell, not even what it is you think. Fucking cares. It's what you do. And that motherfucker did some dumb shit. Now he apologizing and all this other crazy shit. While those corny guys are going to celebrate their $100 million movie and have a boatload of fun the next few weeks. I don't know what team you want to be on. I don't know. But it's wild to me. It's wild to me. It's just unfathomable. I don't get it. I don't want to dwell on that too long. But what I do want to talk about before I leave, and I don't know how many people in here are pursuing anything creatively, or even if you're not, right? Even if whatever you're pursuing, right? I want to talk about like these mental roadblocks that we create for ourselves. Because I know I did, or I do. I still do, to a matter. That's what made me want to talk about it. Like creative barriers where, okay, let me ask y'all something. Y'all ever have something you want to do? You really want to do it. You've been thinking about it for a while. In fact, you've been thinking about it so much, you almost got like a plan, some kind of roadmap to do it. And right when you're about to start, you make up a reason not to start. You make up a reason not to do it at all. Like, why the fuck should I do that? And then you don't do it. It just becomes a fleeting thought in your mind. And then another idea comes and the same thing happens again, right? And a lot of different factors, a lot of different things factor into that. You know, we're in a social media era. So what that means is we get to watch everybody's highlights. Shit like SportsCenter for everybody, right? People go on vacation, they post 100 pictures. People do some cool shit, they post 100 pictures. You know what I'm saying? You see the highlights. Even when they do something fucked up or bad, it's like the worst thing they did. Not all the incremental bullshit they was doing. Just the highlight. So we'll look at someone's highlights and be like, damn, that's more than I can do. Which is false. But it's just how we think. Because we consume so much of it. I know I ain't the only one. At least I don't think I am. What I do think is that because of these outside factors, we'll build barriers to not even try to do shit. Won't even attempt it. I had came up with like 13 excuses of why I shouldn't be on this camera right now talking to y'all. No bullshit. Like 13 of them. Nobody gonna care. Nobody. And here we are. So what made me create those barriers? Fear. Having trepidation that there wouldn't be acceptance. You know, maybe people are not going to get what I'm trying to do. Maybe they're going to look at me weird. Maybe it's just not the right thing for me. Without even doing it. Don't even know. But it maybe it's not. And that's enough for me to just not do it. And I know it's so many people going through the same shit. So I want to talk about some ways to overcome some of them hurdles, some of them barriers. So the first thing is realizing that, yes, the people I am comparing and stacking myself up against, I don't know them well enough to compare myself to them or stack myself up against them. I just don't. I don't know what a person does on a day-to-day basis to be where they're at. I just don't. So why am I concerned with what they're doing? It looks good. Maybe I want to do some of that, but I don't know what they went through to get there. So realistically, it doesn't matter if I want to do it also. It just doesn't. So I think that if we can understand that the people we view on a daily basis go through the same bullshit that we do, it'll make it easier for us to try because we know that they are also participating in the same bullshit. So then you're like, you know what? I can deal with that. Then you have the act of actually starting. Like getting to work to actually start the thing you want to do. Oh, you want to write a screenplay? Start. Write down your synopsis and your log line. Because I think once you actually get started, this is with anything. Unless you're just one of the people that go buy something from IKEA, slap 3 or 4 screws into some shit and they be like, you know what, I don't want to deal with this. And then it sits around for 3 months. If you're one of them people, I don't know if what I'm saying could possibly help you. But if you're one of those people that it's hard to actually just get started, to put the key in ignition and turn it, I think that if you did it in increments, I think because we feel like it's such a daunting task and it's such a big undertaking to pull off that we like, man, getting started is just like a headache. You know what I mean? It's like wearing a thick ass coat in 90-degree weather. You feel what I'm saying? It's hard to get it off the ground because it feels so heavy, right? But what if you just did a piece, like a small piece, like a smidget of it? I think, and only because I've done it, I can't speak for everybody, but I think once you actually get that piece out into the world, once you actually make that a reality, it's easier to add other pieces because you started. You're getting it off the ground. Now it's moving for you. Now you add another piece. And now you add another piece. And maybe you could put a bigger chunk into it. But if you don't even add the piece, you're never going to get started. Everything can't be huge and this big, enormous shit that's on your mind. Sometimes it has to be small. Sometimes you have to scale down your idea. A lot of people I've met, they have these huge ideas. And I'm like, man, like, that sounds good, but I ain't gonna lie to you. They be like, what? I'm like, that shit ain't gonna happen. What do you mean? I'm like, it's too big. Well, Paul, it's too big. What I mean by that is, you don't even have the resources to do that shit. But if you did a piece, you have the resources to do that. If you did another piece, you got the resources to do that too. You'll realize how much you actually have. And then you can make it into something. And I feel like those two things are the biggest hurdles a lot of people that want to do creative things, or even things in general. It could be just cleaning your basement or some shit like that. Like, I think that's the things that halt people, that stop people in their tracks, is the size and weight of the task. And then comparing themselves to other people. Those two things, I think, really hinder, especially creatives that I've seen, including myself. I know that for a fact. Oh, I'm going to come back. I'm going to do YouTube videos, but this time I'm doing on filmmaking. And then I watch some other filmmaker shit. I'm like, hey, I don't even know if I could do that. And then I just don't do it. Not even knowing that maybe my approach and my style is welcome. Maybe people are looking for people like me to speak on these things. But because I didn't give myself a chance, I never fucking know. Pieces. Just small pieces. Tonight, small piece. Boom. I wanted to get in front of people. I want to talk to people about films and my enthusiasm for filmmaking. And bam, here I am. But it was a lot of trepidation to get me here. A lot of trepidation. Because really, all of this stuff I have here, it's been here. Nothing here is new. It's all existed. The only reason I didn't do it was in here. It was me creating barriers. So tonight is the piece for me to get started. And I've laid a couple pieces down, but to actually like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, small piece. Hopefully it gets larger once I add more pieces to it. You know what I mean? And I feel like, you know, that is things that all of us encounter and all of us hurdles that we all have to jump over, that we all have to clear. I believe that. I really do. Maybe I'm wrong. You know, maybe, you know, that's not the case with you. Maybe the reason that, you know what? Fuck that. That's not true. Every time I hear somebody say like they don't have something to do the thing they want to do, I always think that's bogus. I really do. Whoa, you know, you got this thing already. I didn't always have that thing. It's the truth. I didn't always have it. I had an idea. You know what I mean? I worked with what I had, and then as time grew or time passed, I grew upon it. But it didn't. Day one wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? Day zero wasn't like that. Day zero, it was notes on a pad. It was just jotting down notes. In passing, not even thinking anything would really come of it, but just jotting it down so I could see it. And then go forth and start doing it. So, you know, I think that especially us as black folks, we think real big. We want to do everything big. You know, like the big timers said, everything is big. You want to do everything big. And I understand that. I really do. Because who doesn't want to be exceptional? Really? What person woke up in the morning and said, damn, I want to be fucking mid? I don't think, maybe it is, but I just don't think so. I think everybody initially wants to be exceptional. And then things might not work out in their favor. So everybody wants to do something. You feel what I'm saying? It's just getting to that point of actively doing it. That's the hardest part. And perception and weight are the two biggest things to me. Wow, this is so enormous. I can't possibly do that. Small pieces. Wow, this other guy's over here and he's killing this shit. What makes me any different than him? Nothing. You should just try. And once you clear those thoughts, I think then things are like open up. At least it did for me. I'm just speaking off of my experience because I suffer from imposter syndrome for a good minute. You know what I'm saying? Like being in places and then being like, damn, should I even be here? These motherfuckers really think I know what I'm doing. Like, it's just like that kind of shit, right? Wow. This person really believes I know what I'm doing. And at that point, I wasn't sure that I knew what I was doing. But then after a while, I was like, oh, I'm here probably because I belong here. But it took time. So I just kind of wanted to drop some of them jewels. This shit that was on my mind. So when I do these streams, I'm going to talk about a movie. I probably talk about something else to accompany that. And then I want to talk about something real that I think could benefit people. I don't want to just be all joking and entertainment, even though I do a lot of that shit. I kind of want it to be helpful too. I want to help some people. And I want to go through this portion of my life. Like if this is like the second half or whatever stage of it, I want to take this time from here on and try to, I've been helping people anyway, you know what I mean? Like just in general, but I really want to put an emphasis on, not just help, but just information, passing information along that I've obtained. So, that's what a lot of these streams are going to be from the foreseeable future. So if you like films, if you like movies, even if you just like geek culture in general, there's going to be a lot of that. It's going to be a lot of me talking about some of these things that I encounter myself, you know, hurdles in life and in being a creative. Yeah, that's really what it is. I mean, I think that's all I got to offer, to be honest with you. I'm going to share my films too. When I make something, I'll put them on this page as I make them. Even if it's not for me, even if it's stuff I do for clients and stuff, and give an explanation on what I did, or if anybody is interested. You feel what I'm saying? So that's basically what this is going to be going forward. So I think I just wanted to throw that out there because I actually had to sit down and think about this for a minute. Like I said, I had trepidation. I had fear. This is just what it is. Fear. Keep it a buck with you. So let me see, man. My fault. I didn't look at the chat. I was just talking away. My apologies, man. Yo, Chariot, man, what's happening, man? I be sneaky in your streams too sometimes, man. I be in a lot of people's streams. I think that people think I don't watch some of this shit, and that's not true. It's just that I got a toddler running around, y'all. Like having a phone actively in my hand sometimes is crazy, and sometimes I had to put the phone down completely. Like I don't have it at all. So, sometimes I'll just put the stream on my TV if I'm in the crib or on the computer or something like that. So. But yeah, I was sneaky in your joints, man. I was sneaky in Ant joints too, man. Shout out to Trap House Gamers. Shit, Miss K, you went live recently. Like, is either earlier today or last night? I can't remember. I was lit. My fault. But I snuck in your joint for a minute too. So yeah, that's what it be. I be sneaking around and shit. I probably should just drop a comment, say, "Yo, I'm here," but be on some dumb shit. Common sense, what's good, man? What's good? We see Jolly like one of these kids' favorite rappers. Yep, that's crazy. Ron Isley is the man. Yes, sir. Learn and love the process and actively learn to improve your craft will help. But through that, I think you have to start and just do it. Very wise words. Extreme wise words, Jay. Gotta want to improve your craft too. Gotta want to improve your craft. And look, we got quite a few streamers in here. Always improve the craft. When you think you got it going, there could be something that could be improved. Try to do it. I think it'd be worth it. Dre, what's good, Dre? I ain't shot you out in that joint, man. What's good with you? Of course, Black been here for the old joint, man. For the duration, I appreciate that. But yeah, I'm gonna stay on for a couple more minutes. How long I been on? For like an hour and a half. I didn't even think it was gonna be that long, to be honest with you. But y'all got anything y'all want to ask me? Anything you want to shoot the shit about before I get up out of here? Otherwise, and it's crazy because usually I drink the wine and I had like 2 sips of this shit, man. After yesterday, bro, like we had some sativa gummies, right? For the movie. I'm working on a documentary that's about the infusion of cannabis and food, culinary arts. And one of my good friends is a major player in that world, and they're doing things to assist in the legalization of it in different states. New Jersey being one of them, which it's like quasi legal. And I just been doing this documentary and kind of trailing him and following him around these events that he do. It's like these underground events, man, where you just have like. Listen, I've seen a lot of cannabis in the last 3 months, so all kind of crazy shit. But yeah, man, he laced me with some gummies. So I was like, yo, give me something that's not gonna, make me fall asleep. You know what I'm saying? So they gave me some, and listen, we wasn't asleep, but we wasn't here. We was faded. That's why I didn't do the stream yesterday. I'm like way too faded. So it was cool though. You know what I mean? And I can't wait to share that shit with y'all because I think it'll be dope. Am I watching The Last of Us on HBO? I am watching it. It's really well done. There is some things that I'm not necessarily fond of, but it's really well done. It's enjoyable. I ain't gonna say I like all the characters. I think the Ellie character is annoying. I know some people like, oh, that's Ellie. Maybe it was different because I was playing the video game, but I didn't think that she's kind of annoying to me. You know what I mean? That last episode, I didn't really feel that as much because I thought she was annoying again. It was more being annoyed. You know what I'm saying? But the story, the plot, it's good. The chemistry between the two main characters, it's good. The visuals are good. It's good. It's good. I'm just not like head over heels for it like everybody else, but I do think it's good. I think it's slow at times, and I guess that's a product of what it is, you know, because there's a lot of character development. But yeah, it's cool. It's good. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I don't like it. That's bullshit. It's really good. It's really well done, and everybody involved is in. That's the best thing about watching like really good television and really good movies is when people are in the mix. Like they bought into this shit. They're not just there for a check. They there to win. They there to get the dub, and everybody there is there to win, and that's what I like about it the most. But it does give me season 1 Walking Dead vibes. I'm not gonna lie. Like it looks way better than that show, but narratively, yeah, it's very similar in a way. Halo is not better than Halo is ass cheeks actually. Nobody on that set give a fuck about Halo for real. The actors, they was just like, yo man, we getting paid, man. Let's get this money. Everybody came out their trailers like, time to get this money. Quantum, what are my thoughts on the major shakeups at Warner Brothers and DC? Do you think it will be a successful move by DC to bring back the franchise, or bring back the fan base to the theaters? The fan base to be in the theaters when the Flash come out. That's going to happen. Like people are going to see this movie. I don't care what you think of Ezra Miller. You're going to go see this movie and you might enjoy it. And you're going to be salty at yourself because you think he's a clown. But you're going to enjoy this movie because it looks fun. It looks really fun. So, but I do think that, I don't know, man. We got to see what James Gunn is doing. Because right now, I don't like the choice of stuff they're choosing to make. I'm not into some of that stuff. I think that the core characters haven't gotten enough spotlight. I think that's the biggest quarrel I have with what DC does is like they keep making movies about Batman villains, and can we just get a good Green Lantern movie? We finally get a Flash movie after all these years. Just focus on that shit to me. Like I feel like getting the core group of people established. I don't need to see Harley Quinn no more. No more, man. They're just trying to sell toys and fucking costumes to me with that shit. Like, I don't know. I just need more than that. Like let's take some of these characters that haven't had any on-screen counterparts and doing that right. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you, Ant. Always appreciate you pulling up. I think that's probably a bigger thing to me. Let's get some of the core characters correct. And then we can venture into other stuff. I appreciate that, Cherry, man. I can't wait to show you, to be honest with you. For real, like to really be honest with you. Like, I love making stuff that people watch and enjoy. But yeah, it would be nice to get like some Green Lantern action. It'd be nice just to get a decent Superman movie. I know people like Man of Steel. I don't think Man of Steel is a bad movie. It just don't feel like Superman to me. Like Superman's supposed to have like this heart and warmth to it that movie is just lacking to me. Like it feels cold and desolate sometimes. Like Superman snapping Zod's head and just screaming, oh, like I don't want a Superman movie to end like that. I want Superman to be like super duper heroic, saving the day, man. Like I don't feel like Superman stopped too many like natural things in that movie. It was like everything was like this. I don't know. I can't. I don't want to get too far in the weeds with what they did over there with that. Let me see. Have you checked out the new Biohazard 4? You know what? I've been kind of staying away from the game previews for games I want to play. I definitely want Resident Evil 4. Without it, I'm talking. I want that bad. Like that's like that's high on the list right there. Jedi Survivor, that's up there too. So I haven't really been watching shit on them. I think I watched like one preview. The Wolong game, that's not my type of stuff. The Team Ninja, Souls-like games, not my thing. So, but I'm definitely into Jedi Survivor and definitely into Resident Evil. And that's what my Twitch will probably be for, like when I want to stream a game. I got Undisputed, which is crazy, the boxing game. I'm not really feeling it like that, so I didn't stream any of it, but, you know. Jay, if you could, what advice would you give yourself starting out in your craft? Myself, like, what would I give me right now when I first started? Just don't be too pressed about what everybody else is doing. I think that's something that I kind of got caught into early on. Like I remember one time recently, I was just going back through my older videos, and I kind of was like emulating what I thought what people would want to see or like, instead of just doing my own thing. And then I kind of grew into it. But maybe it'd happen a lot faster if I just didn't give a fuck off rip. So I would tell myself, don't really worry about what the guy over there is doing, or the guy over there, or the guy up there. You know, don't worry about that. Just focus on you. And when you could do that, once I start really focusing on me, what I like, what I want to see, what I think is cool for people, and I start really thinking about the audience too. Like that's another thing. I was thinking about other people creating shit and not thinking about the audience. The more I thought about the audience, the better the stuff I made, I thought. So, yeah, I would tell myself just focus on the audience. Focus on the people that's going to enjoy this. Don't worry about them. You know what I mean? So, there are signs that Microsoft has the Activision Blizzard back on track to get approved after Sony's poor attempt to block it. Do you think productivity for games picks up at Microsoft? It need to, because to be honest, I sold my Xbox. I sold my Xbox to my brother Maserati Ran, and I didn't just. It wasn't because it was like, well, listen, I don't need 2 consoles right now. I don't need 3 consoles. I got a PC, and having a PlayStation 5 is good enough for me, right? PlayStation, most of my friends are on PlayStation. So I sold my Xbox. I still have a PC. So if they come out with a game that I'm feeling or I'm looking forward to, I'll just play it on here. I just didn't think it was necessary for me to have one of those because I just feel like they didn't release enough games. Or at least enough games I wanted to play or cared about. Being consistently subscribed to Game Pass doesn't do me any good when I'm not actively playing stuff on that, front. I just hope it does pick up. I hope it does. And to be honest with you, I'm not even against this whole thing. Like some people are like, it's gonna mess gaming up. Nah, it's probably not gonna mess gaming up. And to be honest with you, how much COD can you really play? Like, I actually like Call of Duty, and I'm tired of it. Like, I'm tired of Call of Duty. I got Modern Warfare 2 downstairs, and I barely touched it because I'm just like, just over it, man. Just over it. I'm over 2K in a way. Like, it's just the same shit over and over and over again. So games like God of War come along, or games that kind of scratch the itch for me, like Resident Evil, or even if it was something new. Like, I was really hoping that Callisto Protocol game was good, and then I kind of like saw pieces of it, and I was like, you know what? Dead Space is coming out soon. So if I want to play something like this, I just wait for Dead Space, right? Which I haven't got my hands on yet. I really need to get my hands on that. So yeah, man, it's just stuff like that. Like I don't feel a need for Call of Duty every year. News that Halo Infinite had no real leadership or direction. IP to work on. Nah, I'm gonna say something that people probably don't want to hear about Halo. Halo should live on other stuff. And what I mean by that is, like, It would have been nice for the Halo TV show to have been cool, or a Halo movie or something like that. Maybe a Halo animated series, or just living through other shit. I think Halo as a video game, you got to remember what Halo really was. Halo was like the first, not the first, but like one of the first to bring first person shooting on a competitive level to the couch. It was a part of that whole online multiplayer revolution that happened in the early 2000s with Xbox, mainly Xbox, and PlayStation kind of got into. Well, that's over. That's over. You have to reinvent yourself. And I feel like that game is just not doing any of that. It's really the same. Like, it's the same, but in a weird way, kind of worse. Even if it's technically better, it doesn't have the same feeling that it had before. They might need to just leave Halo alone for a long time. In fact, maybe some franchises just need to just not be around like that. Like not, at least not in gaming form. You know what I mean? It's okay. It's okay. Everything doesn't meant to last forever. I think we get too caught up with things needing to last forever. Everything, we don't last forever. Why the fuck does this need to last forever? You know, I was talking, shout out to my brother Dallas, man. I was talking to Dallas about Star Wars. And, you know, even though, like, occasionally they make a decent property or decent something out of Star Wars, you know, you got the Mandalorian and Andor and Rogue One. But realistically, man, like, they made, like, 3 very forgettable films. 3. Over the last few years. Maybe we need to just chill out on the Star Wars for a while. Like, I know it's money, y'all. It's money. It's money. That's the only reason they won't. It's money. I hate to fuck them games right now. Daylight, their catalog is wow. And man, it's so whack that, you know what I'm saying, Plug 2 died before, you know, people got a chance to give him his flowers again for putting out, you know, impeccable work. Them guys put out I always talk about 3 album runs in music, especially in hip hop. They probably got like one of the best 3 album runs. Them, Tribe, Mobb Deep, Ice Cube. There's a couple of people that had good 3 album runs. Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, man. It's some good 3 album runs. And De La is right there with him, man. De La is chef's kiss. I'm listening to Balloon Mind State when I get in the car tomorrow. That's my shit. But Balloon Mind State is my shit. So I'm going to listen to that when I get in the car tomorrow. The film I'm making is your first indie film. How's the production going? Actually, it's an indie film, obviously, but it's a documentary. So my first feature will be a documentary. In fact, yeah, that's exactly what we're working on. I'm doing one for myself that's a little smaller, a little more contained, and that'll be out like sooner than not, because we filmed a lot of it already. But the new project that I'm working on, which is not me, I'm actually on, it's just a cinematographer. I'm excited about this project, man. It has personal, it has a meaning to me that's bigger than me just chasing people with a camera. You know what I mean? I want to see it be made, and I want to see it be beautiful, because I think it can help a lot of people. It can help a lot of people in my city, man. This city is just on fire right now, and I think it'll be beneficial to a lot of people. So I'm looking forward to starting. We start soon too. We start real soon. So, and like this is something we got to film like in short concession. Like the doc that I'm working on, I've been working on it for months. I've been getting footage and getting interviews and doing research kind of as I can between work. But this is like, you know, we're going to be shooting for like maybe 2 weeks straight, just 2 weeks gung ho. So Should be fun. I'm gonna have some BTS. Excuse me. For people that want to tune in for that. But yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. I got a couple other small stuff too, like, you know, commercials and shit. But those are the two major things that I'm working on right now. Actually, my brother Rand got a grant to do some cool shit too right now. So, yeah, we're just trying to do as much work as we can while people actually fuck with us. Listen, I'm just going to give y'all this. When people start believing in you, when people start buying into what you're doing, whether it's artistic, you know, whatever, when people actually start believing in, don't bullshit. Don't take that time to let your foot up off the gas. Slam that bitch to the floor. To the floor. Go. Because they might not fuck with you no more after that. It could be a wrap after that. You know what I mean? So put your best foot forth, because it could be all over. So yeah, man, listen, people be thinking I'm really not in the game. I don't want to be in the gaming industry anymore, but I still like video games. I'm gonna play a video game tonight. Like, that's a weird. When I heard that, I was like, wow, that's what people thought. I just didn't really want to be in like that online creator community like that. You know, just being a gamer, being interested in gaming, and then interacting with people that are, I'm good with that. That's enough for me. Wanting to be actually in that industry, and I did at one point. Yeah, I don't want to do that anymore. So that's really it though. But I still like have an opinion on video games. I talked to a lot of these brothers about video games still. So yeah, I don't know where that came from, and that's just ridiculous. What is? Oh, that's my son, y'all. My son is at the door. Like, I'm gonna get up out of here. It's time to go. That's the cue. When you start pulling on the doorknob and shit. Yeah. In fact, here, I'm gonna let him in before we end. Come on in, Stan. Come here. Ah. You wave to the camera. No, not my hat. To the oh. To the camera. Wave to the camera. No, not the microphone. You want to say something? No, not my. Why you want my hat? Here. If you take my hat, you gonna put it on. Here, it's on you. Oh, I got you. There you go. Really? That's what we doing? You feeling yourself? You gonna get back to me? Thank you. I'm cool. Do I look cool? Nah, I'm not cool. Listen, y'all. I'm gonna get up out of here. Play with him, and I appreciate everybody that stopped through. I really do. Cause like I said, man, trepidation, man. So I'll absolutely, without a doubt, knock on wood, God willing, I'll be back. So y'all enjoy the rest of y'all night. Y'all take it easy. I don't have an outro no more, so I'll think of one, and I'll catch y'all on the next joint. Peace. Hold up, son. Let me hit the outro button before you put a lens cap on the microphone. Thank you.